Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome you all. We are in Sahih al-Bukhari, chapter Kitabul Janaza, Funeral Janaza. Inshallah, first we're going to do the part 1 today. Nahmaduhu nusalli ala rasulil kareem amma ba'd. Fawz billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So in this we'll cover few things, and inshallah next time we'll cover more. It starts with what is said about funerals. So here first and foremost thing mentioned about what are the things mentioned. Islamically we have to know what are the things mentioned in about the funeral. So when we see this regarding the funeral chapter, the first chapter, we are doing the compressed version. Narrated Abu Zar radiallahu anhu, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, someone came to me from my Lord and gave me the news or good tidings that if any of my followers dies worshipping none in any way along with Allah, means not doing shirk, he will enter Jannah. I asked, even if he committed illegal sexual intercourse, adultery, and theft? He replied, even if he committed illegal sexual intercourse, adultery, and theft. So here we learn that when you are on Tawheed, Tawheed means Islamic monotheism. That is so important. Tawheed has so much importance, so it has been given honor to enter the Jannah, even though the fahisha and the theft. So here mention about أنه من مات من أمتي لا يشرك بالله شيئا. First and foremost thing, they shouldn't do the shirk. It's not like even though you are doing shirk and going to the shrine and believing in the other deities. Some people they think, oh, we are so modern. We believe in other things like we believe in other gods, and also we are Muslim. We believe in Allah too. That's not the Tawheed, because the same thing that the Aqidah with the people of Makkah. So what is the difference between the people of Makkah and ourselves? We are not going to repeat the same thing as people of the Makkah did, isn't it? So here what it is mentioned, أنه من مات من أمتي لا يشرك بالله شيئا دخل الجنة. So dakhala means dakhala yadkhilu means entering. Where Jannah? If you don't do the shirk. Qultu, they ask, wa in zani, even zani, the person who is doing adultery, wa in saraka, saraka means theft, stealing something. Wa in zani, wa in saraka. So what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, even though zani and saraka, even though stealing and doing the adultery, but the prerequisite, most important thing is if you die on the Tawheed, believing in one Allah. The next hadith, this is narrated by Abdullah. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, anyone who dies worshipping other along with Allah will definitely enter the fire. I said, anyone who dies worshipping none along with Allah will definitely enter paradise. So, other way around. If you are not doing shirk, you will enter Jannah. But what if you are doing the shirk? But if you are doing the shirk, will you be able to enter the Jannah? That's the thing mentioned over here. If you are doing the shirk, will you be able to enter it? Of course not, because the hellfire is your final destination. Man mata yushriku billahi shay'an dakhala an-nar. You are doing shirk. So what's going to happen if somebody is doing the shirk? So here clearly mentioned, if anyone is doing the shirk, what is the end result? What is the final destination for them? Final destination will be nar, fire. The next chapter regarding Babul Amri Tibai Janaza. The order to follow the funeral procession. What is the order to follow the funeral procession? Narrated Al-Bara bin Azib, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered us to do 7 things. What he said? To do 7 things. Allah's Messenger ordered us to do 7 things. He ordered us to follow the funeral procession. So it is a haqq to follow the funeral procession. And the second thing, to visit a sick. And the third, to accept invitation. And then to help the oppressed by stopping the oppression. To follow the oath, to return the greeting. Somebody said Assalamu alaikum. So you're going to return the greeting, Wa alaikum salam, isn't it? And to reply the sneeze, if somebody sneeze, then you say, Ya Rahmakallah, saying, May Allah be merciful on you. So, provided the sneeze says Allah, the praises are for Allah. He forbade us to use silver utensils and dishes, to wear golden rings and silk clothes, dibaj, pure silk, khisi, and istabrak, two kinds of silk. This is for, this is forbidden for home. For men, women, they are allowed to. But some people they ask, is it allowed if few strings of silk or so? Better to avoid. So here what we learn, seven things. In that, one of the thing, following the funeral procession of the deceased. So here, cemetery, they go to cemetery and there they gather, because in US and UK they don't have that carrying thing, and just you have to follow just from taking out from the vehicle till they go to the the place they bury. Up to that you get the chance to do, but in Asian countries you get the chance to carry the funeral for longer period of time, but your India counts, how much you can do. So here we are doing the chapter of funeral, so we're going to cover the things which covers about the funeral thing, and to follow funeral procession and to visit the sick. And this is also important. Iyadatin marid. Iyada. We use this word in iyadat karna in Urdu. But iyadat al marid, doing the, finding about visiting the sick and, making them feel good. And also, the next thing mentioned, to accept the invitation. So, ijabati da'i, whoever invites you, you can accept the invitation. And also, one nasaril mazlumin, helping the mazlum, one who is being oppressed, you can help them by overcoming with that. And also, here mentioned, not only that, to fulfill the oaths, and when somebody sneeze, answer them back, and also answer the salam when somebody does, and not to wear the silk, especially for the men. So what is the important thing here? Learn to, regarding the funeral, you have to follow that. The seven things has been mentioned, and forbid us to do other seven, and seven things one have to do and seven things one should not do. What is that? Not to use silver utensils and dishes, and not to wear golden rings, silks, clothes. As I mentioned, this is for the men's. And the baj, pure silk cloth, and kissi and istabrak, and two kinds of silk cloths. Next hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. I heard Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, the rights of a Muslim on the Muslim are five. How many rights are there? Haqqul Muslim ala Muslim khamsun. Khamsun means five. What are they? First, to respond the salam. So, ruddu salam, return the salam, ruddu. And the second thing, visiting the sick. Wa iyadatul marid, visiting the sick. And to follow the funeral procession. Again here mentioned Vattaba'ul Janaiz, follow the funeral procession, the third thing. And we are doing the chapter for funeral procession Janaza. And then the fourth thing, to accept an invitation, but ijabatu the awadi. And then later it is mentioned to accept invitation and to reply to those who sneeze. Watushmitul atisi. So sometimes what happens in Sahih Bukhari, the same hadith has been repeated with different words. So Imam Bukhari mentioned all of them. Visiting the deceased person after he has been put in his shroud. What is this? Is longer hadith. Try to understand. Babu dukhuli alal mayyiti ba'da mauti iza adrija fi kafanihi. You know, putting the deceased person in the coffin, in the shroud, and what are the things one has to take care of. And this is narrated by Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, came riding his horse from his dwelling place in Ashsun. He got down from it, entered the masjid, and did not speak with anybody till he came to me and went direct to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Came to me means Abu Bakr came to whom? To Aisha radiallahu anha, daughter. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who was covered with a marked blanket. He was covered himself, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Abu Bakr uncovered his face. He knelt down and kissed him and then started weeping and said, he started crying, who? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And my father and my mother be sacrificed for you, O Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allah will not combine two death on you. You have died the death which was written to you. Narrated Abu Salama from Ibn Abbas. Abu Bakr came out and Umar was addressing the people. And Abu Bakr told him to sit down. But Umar refused. You know, Umar Khattab, he's a different kind of person. His personality is different. Abu Bakr again told him to sit down. But Umar again refused. Then Abu Bakr recited Tashaddud. None has the right to be worshipped but Allah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the last prophet and messenger. And people attended to Abu Bakr and left Umar. Abu Bakr said, Amma Bad, whoever among you worship Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and then Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is dead, but whoever worshipped Allah, listen this carefully. To whom we should worship? We should worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Here Abu Bakr Siddiq is clear in that matter. He said, who is worshipping to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he is dead. But whoever worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is alive, Hayyul Qayyum, and will never die. Allah said Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is no more than a prophet, and indeed many prophets has passed away before him up to the grateful. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is, mata wa man kana yabdullah fa inna Allah hayyu la yamutu qala Allah ta'ala wa ma Muhammad illa rasul. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam but a rasul. إلا شاكرين والله لكان الناس لم يكونوا يعلمون أن الله أنزل آيات حتى تلاها. So he said Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not more than a messenger and a prophet, and before also messengers and prophets they passed away. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam up to the grateful. This is narrated in Surah number 3 and number 144. And narrator added by Allah, it was as if the people never that Allah has revealed His verses before till Abu Bakr recited it, and then whoever heard it started reciting it. So this was the period mentioned about Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was on the dead bed, the last few breath left, and then Abu Bakr Siddiq, he came and met Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he died, and then he announced to the people. But because everybody loves Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam so much, nobody was uh, like they don't want to believe that he is no more, because if you love somebody out of love and affection, so Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is no more. So Abu Bakr Siddiq, he quoted this ayah from Surah Al Imran, ayah number 144. He said, Wama Muhammadin illa Rasul. He's a Rasul. And before also Mata, many people, many Rasuls, they die. And so Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is also a Rasul. He gonna die. But who gonna be alive? Hayyul Qayyum is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a creator, and the rest of the things are the creation. So we all will die. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is also dead. So that's what he mentioned. And then he announced that he is no more. This was the mention here. Narrated Kharija bin Zayd bin Thabit, al-Ala, an Ansari woman who gave the pledge of allegiance to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said to me, the immigrants were distributed among us by drawing lots, and we got in our share Usman bin Mazin. They were drawing lots and they got it Usman bin Mazin. We made him stay with us in our house. Then he suffered from a disease. He was sick, he was not feeling well, which proved fatal. When he died and was given a bath, ghusl, and was shrouded, kafan, in his clothes, Allah's Messenger ﷺ came and said, "May Allah be merciful to you, O Abu As-Sa'ib. I testify that Allah has honored you." The Prophet ﷺ said, "How do you know that Allah has honored him?" I replied, "O Allah's Messenger ﷺ, let my father be sacrificed for you. On whom else shall Allah bestow his honor?" Prophet ﷺ said, "No doubt death came to him by Allah. I too wish him good, but by Allah I don't know what Allah will do with me. Though I am Allah's Messenger ﷺ, by Allah I never attested the piety of anyone after that." So here what we learn, a person came and he stayed and then he fell sick and he died. We made him stay with us in our house. Then he suffered from a disease which was proved very fatal and he died and he was given a bath, last bath, and shrouded kafan and given the last bath and given the shroud. And Allah's Messenger ﷺ came and said, "May Allah be merciful to you." To whom? To Abu As-Sa'ib. "And I testify that Allah has honored you." Who is saying this? Regarding that deceased person, Muhammad ﷺ is testifying that Allah has honored him. Who? Abu As-Sa'ib. Prophet ﷺ said, "How do you know that Allah has honored him?" I replied, "O Allah's Messenger ﷺ, let my father be sacrificed for you." Here Muhammad ﷺ came and some person, he said that Allah has honored him. So Muhammad ﷺ asked him, "Why did you say that Allah has honored him?" So he replied, the narrator is replying, not Muhammad ﷺ said he has honored. Try to understand. Here narrator is saying Allah has honored him. So Muhammad ﷺ is asking, "Oh, how do you know that Allah has honored him?" So that narrator replied, "O Allah's Messenger ﷺ, let my father be sacrificed for you. On whom else shall Allah bestow his honor?" Prophet ﷺ said, "No doubt death came to him by Allah, by the permission of Allah, he died. I too wish him good." So Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, "I too want the good for him, but by Allah, I don't know what Allah will do." So he said, "I don't know about ghaib, about unseen. I don't know what Allah will do for him." Somebody die, we wish good for them, but we can't practically say he or she is being honored or so, because we don't know what is for them, for the deceased. So that's what Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying. Don't say that. No doubt I too love that person, but it doesn't mean how can we decide? We don't know about it. And death is certain. And Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, "I too wish him good, but by Allah, I don't know what Allah will do with me though." So he was saying, "I'm not sure about myself. If I'm going to die, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do with me. So how can I guarantee with anyone else?" So by Allah, I never attended the piety of anyone after that. So that was the thing, the experience of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So what we learn from this, we should always say good about the deceased, but we can't be judgmental. We can't decide on behalf of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, because Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the creator. Some people they say, "Oh, he is going to Jannah for sure." We don't know. Allah knows best. We can say, "Please Allah, we beg you to forgive the deceased person and attain him Jannatul Firdaus." We should make dua and request and beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we can't decide judgmentally and say he or she is going to Jannah. Allah knows best who is going to Jannah. And we all want to go to Jannah, isn't it? So let's make dua and don't be judgmental regarding that manner. And we are doing this all the hadiths from Sahih al-Bukhari. And you can go to this website also, sunnah.com, and if you want in English, Urdu, both languages are there. But I prefer English. If I change the language to Urdu, it does not appear the Arabic text. Here, the next hadith narrated Al-La'id. So it was almost the same. And he narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, when my father was martyred, like Shaheed, I lifted the sheet from his face and cried. And people forbade me to do so because it's quite natural. It was his father, and Jabir's father, he was martyred, he was shaheed. So he started crying and he lifted the sheet from his face and he was crying. And people forbade him, stopped him. But Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not stop him. He did not forbid me. Then my aunt Fatima radiallahu anha began crying. She also started crying. And Prophet ﷺ said, it is all the same whether you cry or not. The angels were shading him continuously with their wings till you shifted him from the field. So Muhammad ﷺ has been informed anything through Wahi, and he has shown in the dreams, and his dreams was truth. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was saying the angels are shading him continuously with their wings till you shifted him from the field. So what we learn, like if somebody is shaheed, they will be honored by angels continuously with their wings till you shift him from the field. And so shaheed has so much honor. We all want to die as a shaheed, as a martyr, right? The next hadith, a man who informs the relatives of the deceased person of his death by himself. Babu Rajulu yan'a ila ahli mayyiti binafsihi. So a man who informs the relatives of deceased person and of his death by himself. Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam informed the people about the death of Najashi. On the very day he died, he went towards the Musalla praying place, and the people stood behind him in rows. He said, four takbirat offer the funeral prayer. So what we learn here, how the funeral prayer will be, four takbirat. Fasaffa bihim wa kabbara arba. Arba means four. So the person who died was Najashi. On the very day he died, he went towards Musalla. He went towards the praying place. And the people stood behind him in rows. Everybody stood behind him. And then they did the funeral prayer. And how many rakas are there for the funeral prayer? Four takbiras. So the people stood behind him in rows. He said four takbiras and offered the funeral prayer. Four takbirats will be there. We'll see more detail about it when the chapter continues. I'm going to explain more detail about it. The next hadith talks about, when the title is given, like, this title will go on, like Babu Rajul Yani ila Ahlil Mayyidi bi Nafsihi. The next hadith narrated by Anas bin Malik. Prophet ﷺ said, Zayd took over the flag and was martyred. Who? Zayd who? He was martyred. He was shaheed. Then it was taken by Jafar. He was also a Sahabi and he was also martyred and means shaheed as well. Then Abdullah bin Rawaha radiallahu anhu, he took the flag, but he too was martyred. 1, 2, and this is third Sahaba. And at that time, the eyes of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was full of tears, full of tears rolling down. Then Khalid bin Walid took the flag without being nominated as a chief beforehand and was blessed with the victory. Subhanallah. Look at the love for the Islam. One is martyred, second, third, and how Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam could see the love for the Islam and love for Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and his eyes are crying. It's quite natural though, eyes will cry, but you shouldn't start behaving like, saying the things which is forbidden in Islam. So first and foremost, we learn Prophet ﷺ said, Zayd took the flag and he died. He was martyred that time. Who is narrating this hadith? Anas bin Malik. And then what happened? Jafar took. and he was also martyred. Then the third Sahaba, Abdullah bin Rawaha, he took the flag, but he too was martyred. And at that time, eyes of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was crying, were full of tears. Then Khalid bin Walid took the flag without being nominated as a chief before the hand and was blessed with the victory. So that moment of time, he didn't think, okay, I am a leader or not, but he took it who Khalid bin Walid, and then finally they got the victory. Imradin Paputiha Laha. So they were given the victory. Subhanallah. Conveying the news of funeral procession. Babu Azinal Bil Janaza. This is narrated by Ibn Abbas. Conveying the news of funeral procession. Isn't it hard though? It's really hard though. But this is the reality, we all have to die one day. Kullu nafsin zaiqatul maut. Every person has to taste the death. Person died and Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to visit him. He died at night and the people buried him at night. In the morning, they informed Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam about his death. He said, what prevented you from informing me? A person, this is narrated by Ibn Abbas, a person died and Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to visit him, go and do the ayadat and visit him and find out about him. But this person died in the night and people buried him. They did the tadfeen in the night only. And in the morning, they informed Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam about his death. He said, what prevented you from informing me? They replied, it was night and it was dark night. They said, because it was too late, it was night, we didn't inform you and it was very dark though. So we dislike to trouble you. Because they thought maybe he has his personal life, we shouldn't disturb. They have good intention. But Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went to his grave and offered funeral prayer. So what we learn in this, even though that person was dead, the day before he was done the tadfeen, he was buried in the grave. The next day when Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to know, he offered the funeral prayer. So here we know, like even the person is dead and find out and can do the funeral prayer. The next thing, the superiority of the person whose child dies. Babul Fadli man mata lahu waladun fahtasab. This is narrated by Anas. May Allah protect us from such kind of trust and trials. It's not an easy thing, Superiority of the person whose child dies. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, a Muslim whose 3 children die before the age of puberty will be granted Jannah by Allah due to His mercy for them. Allahu Akbar. ما من الناس من مسلما يتوفى له ثلاث means 3 لم يبلغ حنسا. So before a Muslim whose children they die before the age of puberty. So what will happen? إِلَّا أَدْخَلُ اللَّهُ الْجَنَّةِ. They will enter in Jannah. بِفَضْلِ رَحْمَتِي إِيَّاهُمْ. And by Allah's permission, they will have mercy for them. Subhanallah. Next hadith narrated by Abu Sa'id. The woman requested Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, please fix a day for us. So Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam preached to them and said, a woman whose 3 children died would be screened from the hellfire by them. Hearing that, a woman asked if 2 died. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, even 2 would screen her from the hellfire. And Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu added, those children should be below the age of puberty. So here, first of all, we learn women they requested to learn. They requested Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to fix a day for us because they also want to learn from Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So one can teach to the woman, but not one to one. Here, many women will be there and keeping the etiquettes of the hijab. So they will fix the day for the woman. And you know, Ummahatul Mu'mineen and other, when the hukum came for covering, everybody is to cover. And there is nothing wrong, you cover yourself and you follow the class and listen to it. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was teaching to the women also. They fixed one day for them. So Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was teaching them. So a woman whose three children died, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was narrating this. So hellfire will be screened from the people whose three children died. So hellfire is, it's like a forbidden for them screen. Hearing that, a woman asked, if two died. The people, they have questions in their mind and they do ask it. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, even two, they would have the screen from the hellfire. Like, you know, they can't enter in the hellfire. It's like a protection, you know, you get the protection. How you cover yourself not to wet yourself when you go in the rainy day. And the same way, when you are covered, it is a screening protection from the hellfire. When three children died or two children died, but what is the thing we learn here? They didn't attain the age of puberty, below the age of puberty, because the narrator Abu Huraira added that these children should be below the age of puberty. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أبو هريرة لم يبلغ الحنس. Narrated Abu Huraira, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no Muslim whose three children died will go to the fire except for Allah's oath. Everyone has to pass over the bridge above the lake of fire. We all has to pass the pulsar. If you fall, you will fall into the hellfire. But what we learn in this hadith, no Muslim whose three children died will go to hellfire except for Allah's oath. Everyone has to pass over the bridge above the lake of fire. The next chapter, the saying of a man to a woman at grave, be patient. Babu Holi Rajuli Lil Mar'ati Indal Qabaril is buried. So person has been the man to a woman at grave to have a patience, to have a sabr. Narrated by Anas bin Malik, Prophet ﷺ passed by a woman who was sitting and she was crying beside a grave and said to her, fear Allah and be patient. So a woman next to a grave, she was crying a lot. If your loved ones passed away, how you feel? You feel like crying and you feel like completely your life stopped, isn't it? It's so hard. So she was crying. So somebody passed by and said, Ittaqallah wasbir. So have fear of Allah and be patient. The bath of death and his ablution with water and sidr. Babul ghusli mayyiti wa wudu'ihi bil ma'i was sidr. Sidr, like the leaves of the sidr. So the bath of a dead person, deceased, and doing the wudu with water and doing the sidr, washing with the sidr. This is narrated by Atiya al-Ansariya. Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to us when his daughter died and said, wash her thrice or 5 times. How many times one has to wash? Because we should know how a janaza has to be washed, how the last usal should know. How many times? Wash her thrice or 5 times or more. You can do more also. If you see it necessary with the water and then sidr and then apply camphor or add some camphor at the end. Then you finish, notify me. So when we finished it, we informed him and he gave us his waist sheet, told us to shroud the dead body in it. So in the end, they shroud in the dead body in the shroud, where the cloth. So what we learn here, the Musnoon way, recognized way, how Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam daughter was given the ghusl, either thrice or 5 times or can be more, necessary with water and sidr. Then apply camphor or some camphor at the end. When you finish, notify. So he then informed him and he gave his waist in sheet and told us to shroud the dead body in it. Next, we learn about chapter number 9. Babu yustahabbu an yughsala vitra. It is desirable to wash the dead body. Vitra means odd number of times. Vitra. Narrated Atiya, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, came to us, and we were giving a bath to deceased, dead daughter, and said, wash her 3, 5 or more times with water and cedar and sprinkle camphor on her. At the end, when you finish, notify me. So when we finished, we informed him. He gave us his waist sheet and told us to shroud her in it. Ayyub said, radiallahu anhu, that Hafsa radiallahu anha narrated to him a narration similar to that of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which it was said that the bath was to be given for an odd number of times, and the number was 3, 5 or 7. First hadith which we have seen before, it was mentioned 3, 5 or more, but here specifically mentioned 3, 5 or 7. It was also said that they were to start with the right side and with the parts which were washed in ablution with wudu. And that Atiya also mentioned we combed her hair and divided them in 3 braids. So for the woman, we learn here not only this, the woman's hair will be combed and the 3 braids will be made. You know. So that's how the things. The previous hadith and this hadith has more detail. The previous hadith and this hadith. So as I mentioned, Imam Bukhari mentioned the hadith in different forms. Some words will be different. All of them will be mentioned so that we could understand in a better manner. First of all, we learn how the recognized way of daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given the bath and ghusl, and we learn that wash 3, 5 or more, but later it was cleared by Hafsa radiallahu anha. She said it was 7, and we learn like water first and then cedar and sprinkle camphor, and also we learn that better to do the odd number 3, 5 and 7, and when you start giving the ghusl, start from the right side. And also it is mentioned for the woman, like make the hair divided in 3 parts and 3 braids. And also the part of the ghusl is doing the ablution, also doing the wudu. Next chapter is to start from the right side while giving a bath to a dead body. Babu yubda'u bi yamini minal mayyit. Abdana bi yamini minha wa mu'adi wudu'i minha. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said concerning his dead daughter, bath, said start with the right side and the parts which are washed in the ablution. Means starting with the right side and also make sure do the wudu also. Chapter number 11, to start with the parts of the dead body which are washed in ablution. First the parts of the body which we do in the ablution. So here we learn, when we wash the deceased daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to us while we were washing her, start the bath from the right side and from the parts which are washed in ablution. You know how we do wudu, like washing our hands, sniffing nose, then face, then hands, like doing the massage of the hair, putting in the ear, fingers, and then washing the feet, so on and so forth. So that's how it was mentioned. The chapter 12, can a woman be shrouded in waist sheet of a man? Babu hal tukaffanu mar'atu fi izaril rajul. Can a woman be shrouded in the waist sheet of a man? Narrated Atiya, daughter of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, expired. Again, the same thing has been mentioned as I told you, with the different narration and the different aspect. and he said to us, wash her 3, 5 or more. If you see it necessary, when you finish, notify me. When we finished, we informed him, and he fastened his waist sheet and told us to shroud her in it. So the waist sheet, even though it belongs to men, it can be shrouded to the coffin, to the body of the deceased person. For the woman also, it's not forbidden. Next chapter, to sprinkle camphor on the dead body. Baba yaj'alul kafura fil akhiri. Narrated Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Atiyah said, one of the daughter of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. He came out and said, wash her 3, 5 or more. If you think it necessary, with water and cedar and last, all put camphor for some camphor. When you finish, inform me. Atiyah added, when we finish, we informed him, and he gave us his waist sheet and said, shroud her in it. And Atiyah in another narration added, Prophet ﷺ washed her 3, 5 or 7 times or more. If you think it's necessary, Hafsa radiallahu anha said, Atiyah had also said, we intertwined her hair into 3 braids. Already this has been mentioned before also. The hair has to be made 3 braids, parting and making 3 braids. Chapter to undo the hair of a dead female. Babul Naqdi Sha'ril Mar'ati. Narrated Hafsa Bintey Sajida. Atiyah said they had intertwined the hair of the daughter of Allah's Messenger in 3 braids. They first undid her hair, washed, and then untwined in 3 braids. This question is asked many times, like, do we have to open the hair for the deceased woman and then clean it and then tie it? Yes, of course, because here clearly mentioned they opened the hair, undid her hair, washed it. Like, how you give the shower, had showered the same way they washed the hair, then entwined in 3 parts. So here we learn Wasalam Salasa Qurunin Naqdanahu Summa Ghasalnahu Summa Ja'alnahu Salasata Qurun. So they opened the hair, they washed it, then after that making the parting into 3 braids. Next, how to shroud a dead body. Babu Kaifa Isharul Mayyit. How to shroud a dead body. Here, Atiyah, an Ansari woman who gave the pledge of allegiance to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, came to Basra to visit her son, but she could not find him. She then narrated to us, Prophet ﷺ came to us while we were giving birth to his dead daughter. He said, wash her 3, 5 or more. If you think it's necessary, with water, cedar, and last of all, put camphor. And when you finish, notify me. Atiyah added, after that, she to shroud her, and did not say more than that. So we learn the same thing with the different narrations. 16 hadith, to entwine the head hair of a dead woman in 3 braids. Babu hal yaj'alu sharul mar'ati salasa qurun. Narrated by Atiyah, we intertwined the hair of dead daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam into 3 braids. Waqi said, the Sufyan said, 1 braid was intertwined in the front and the other 2 were intertwined on the side. So one was in the front and the other 2 was in the back. Hadith number 17, we are doing Sahih al-Bukhari. We are doing the book of funeral, al-Janaiz. Here, to make the hair of a dead woman fall at her back. Babu yulqa sharul mar'ati khalfaha. Narrated Atiyah, one of the daughter of Prophet ﷺ, expired, and he came to us and said, wash her with cedar odd number of times, 3, 5 or more if you think necessary. In the last, put camphor. Camphor on her. When you finish, notify me. So when we finished, we informed him. He gave his waist sheet to us to shroud her. We intertwined the hair of deceased girl in 3 braids and made them fall at her back. So what we the new thing we learned in this hadith? The same thing was repeated, like giving the shower with the water, sidr, and doing it 3, 5 or more. And it was clear in one of the hadith it can be 7 odd number of times. And applying camphor, and also we learned shrouding it, the waist also shrouded. But regarding the hair, intertwined, making 3 partings and 3 braids. Parting and 3 braids, and the braid should fall back, not in the front. These minute details also matter. Salasata qurunin wa alqainaha khalfaha. Khalfaha means back. Chapter number 18, while cloth for the shroud. Cloth for the shroud means Babu Siyabil Bidil Kafan. So shroud for the deceased. Narrated Aisha radiallahu anha, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was shrouded in 3 Yemeni white sahulia piece of cloth of cotton, and then there was neither a shirt nor a turban. It's like a shroud, it's not a stitched cloth. It is unstitched, remember that. So how Anna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kuffana fi salasi, three cloths. Aswabi means soap from cloth. And how the cloth was yamini cloth, and baydin means white. And suhuliyatin min kursufi laysa fihinna khamisun wala imama. It's not a khamis, it was not a turban. There was neither a shirt nor a turban. Hadith number 19, shrouding in 2 pieces of cloth. Babul kafni fil saubain. This is the last, like the procession going on. We are not in this world, and how we gonna go from this world with only 2 cloths? So we are so much concerned about what we wear, is it branded or not. We're gonna go in only 2 clothes. That too, it's not stitched. No brands, nothing. Just imagine. So why we are so boastful and arrogant in this world, and sometimes we become so choosy. Oh, I'm not gonna wear this. I'm not gonna do this. Allah protect us from such kind of fakeness. Shrouding in 2 pieces of cloth. Narrated Ibn Abbas, while a man was riding his mount in Arafat, he fell down from it in his mount and broke his neck and died. It's like an accident. Prophet ﷺ washed him with water, sidr, and shrouded him in 2 pieces. Neither perfumed him nor his head, for he was resurrected on the day of resurrection, saying labbaik like a pilgrim. So this is narrated by Ibn Abbas. A man was riding the mountain Arafat, means he was doing the Hajj, it means. So he fell down from it and mount and broke his neck. He fell down, he broke his neck, and immediately he died. So Prophet ﷺ washed him, give the ghusl with water and then sidr, and shroud him in 2 pieces of cloth. Again we learn only 2 pieces will be there. And neither perfume him nor cover his head, for he will be resurrected on the day of resurrection, saying labbaik like a pilgrim. وَكَفَنُهُ فِي صَوْبَيْنِ 2. Tasniya, this is. وَلَا تُحْنَزْتُهُ وَلَا تَخْمَرُ رَأْسَهُ. And فَإِنَّهُ يُبْأَسُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ مُلْأَيَّبًا. So here it will be said that on the day of resurrection he will be saying labbaik like a pilgrimage. Here we are doing Sahih al-Bukhari, Book of Funeral al-Janaiz, and doing the chapter 20, the perfuming of a dead body with hanud. Hanud lil mayyit. Narrated Ibn Abbas, while a man was at Arafat for Hajj, and Allah's Messenger ﷺ fell down from his mount and broke his neck, and so Allah's Messenger ﷺ washed him with water, sidr, and 2 pieces of cloth, neither perfumed him and on the day of resurrection he'll be saying labbaik. The same thing as we mentioned, the narrator Ibn Abbas, only again it was repeated. The first title was shrouding in two pieces of cloth, and here the title is different, the perfuming of a dead body with hanud. So what we learn, what is the difference between the hadith is as it is, but the title here is perfuming the dead body with hanud, and in the previous we see shrouding in two pieces of cloth. So the same thing, while man was at Arafat for Hajj with Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he fell down from his mount and broke his neck, and he immediately died. So Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave him shower, after shower with the water, then sidr, shroud him in two pieces. What we learned, shroud men in two pieces, and those two pieces are not stitched. Remember that, and neither perfume him nor cover his head. For Allah will resurrect him on the day of resurrection, and he will be saying labbaik. So here we end. Next class we'll continue this, inshallah. Do subscribe my channel. The channel name is Ilm Quranforallbayan. If you type Ilm Afreen in the search of YouTube, you'll get it. Ilm Quranforallbayan Afreen Fatima Bintey Sajida. Do subscribe and like. It's in English and Urdu, all the bayans. You can see the playlist also. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika.